About 12 years ago, I found myself at the crossroads of my life. I'd achieved essentially my life's dream of making a full-time living in the arts. I was producing, consulting, and directing in film, video, and theater, and I essentially looked forward in my life and had built a client base that I saw myself retiring in this life, and it was amazing. I was absolutely flabbergasted and was so thrilled at that. In addition, I'd been seeing a woman for about 5 years and thought, I could marry this woman, we could settle down, get a house, get a dog, and have essentially the American dream, as it were, in West Michigan. At the same time, there's something else inside me that thought, is this my life that I want? Is this where I want to land? I remember looking back at my childhood, sitting alone in the dark with my dad, watching E.T. Oh, that was magic. I want to do that with my life. But at the same time, Los Angeles and the Hollywood industry was so far away, I had no idea how to get from Michigan to LA, let alone the film industry. At the same time, I'd grown up in what many called a broken home. My parents were divorced when I was very young, and I had no exact model in terms of what it meant to be within a marriage or anything to that concept. And I knew the statistics, and I didn't want to repeat that cycle within my life of having a home that wasn't quite complete. So it was a big decision, and I really wanted to look inside and see what should I do with my life. So I settled on a lake in a cabin and thought about it and contemplate deeply if I was going to consider and settle in this life as I'd known it, or if I was going to make a different choice. Two things came out of that weekend. Number one, I could not stay in the life that I was living in. It was great, but there was something more out there, and I needed to go after that impossible dream. The second thing is, there's no way I was going to accomplish that without that woman I loved at my side. So thankfully, she agreed to marry me, and we got married, and we took the leap to move out to Los Angeles without any plan or any idea or any job, and we just went, jumping into the unknown. Thankfully, we met on an improv team. So jumping into the unknown wasn't anything new for us. We'd done that quite a bit on the stage. We'd met on a theatrical improv team, which the most often cultural touchstone for that people reference is, whose line is it anyways? But essentially it's when people come on stage without any clear plan of action and create a theatrical event for you. And that essentially improvisational framework formed the foundation of our relationship. In addition, it created a creative outlet for us and a framework for our professional lives. I wrote my MFA thesis in drama about how improvisation applied to stage management and producing. And she wrote her doctoral dissertation in psychology about how improvisation could be used as a therapeutic model. So we'd done a lot of research delving into the world of improvisation, what it was all about, the great founders like Viola Spolin and Keith Johnstone, and a number of others, delving into the truths about improvisation and how they worked within our world. And three key themes came out from that research, and they really codify the core of what improvisation is about. In addition, they made a profound impact in my life, and they make a profound impact to me as what I love about improvisation. The first thing that I love about improvisation is it's all about choices. Every moment of our lives we're making choices, and when you go on stage, an empty stage, you immediately have to make a choice and commit to that choice. The key is, though, you can't judge that choice within a moralistic framework. You can't say I'm good or bad in terms of that framework. A lot of my students will ask me when I'm teaching them about improvisation, am I good at this? I kind of feel like I'm not good at this. I feel like I'm bad at this. And I try to encourage them to remove that framework of judgment from their work and really open themselves up to a sense of discovery. Because choices really can only be made on a spectrum of strong or less strong. When I walked up here today, I made a choice in terms of how I approached you to try to seem authoritative and knowledgeable about what I'm talking about. I could have made this choice. Hey, everybody! That would have made a different choice. You would have had a different reaction to my choice if I came out doing that versus the way I did choose to come out. And based on my objective, it is stronger or weaker choice. Removing that framework of judgment allows us to realize that there's no mistakes in the world. There's only opportunities to make a choice, examine that choice. If it's helping me achieve my objective, I continue on that choice. If it's not, I make a new choice. Everything we do is a choice. And even if we make sometimes large choices like marriage, within that choice, there's smaller choices in terms of how we react and engage within that choice that define our world. And if we can go within the framework of making these choices without a sense of judgment, but more of a sense of grace and understanding that making big choices won't define us as good or bad, but will define us as making discoveries, then every choice is an opportunity for a discovery. If I make a strong choice, I can have great rewards. If I make a less strong choice, I can have great discoveries in terms of how I'm living my life or how I'm approaching the things that I'm approaching. And then the next choice can be even stronger based on those discoveries. I've used that framework also within my marriage and within my life, and it has provided me a great sense of working together with my wife and also just opening myself up towards the world that is around us. The second thing that I really love about improvisation is it's a collaborative art form. We build things together. Within a scene, two players come out and they build a creation of what's happening on stage together. They interact and build it together. Even in a solo performance like this, I'm reacting to what you're giving me in terms of your energy and your focus. If you're with me, I feel so much better. If you're not with me, I feel a little bit less like, I hope this is going okay. But hopefully within this creative framework, we understand that we're working together and we need each other. The other aspect of that is that in working together, we realize that in this collaborative work of creating a world together is that everybody has a voice and everybody's voice is valid and important. And we have to be open to that in order for, within the theatrical world, a scene to be really dynamic and empowering. Within our world, likewise, if somebody's agenda or ego is overpowering, then we suddenly have a lot of the issues that we see today within society. There's actually an interesting study that there's an adage where more people can accomplish things together within a committee, but if you've ever been in committee, you question that concept. But there's actually been another further study most recently about the fact that the key element of working in committees that are successful are ones that everyone is equally valued and has equal voice. When there's a disproportionate power within that committee, there's going to be a disproportion in terms of how they can accomplish things together. And within improvisation, you need to build things together. And I've found that same framework again in the work that I'm doing as a theater artist, which is a very collaborative art form, and also in my marriage, which hasn't always been easy, but it's always been rewarding. So the third thing that I absolutely love about improvisation is that it's all about connectedness and being in the moment. If you're not in the moment in terms of what's going on within a stage or within a space, you're going to miss out on the magic of what's going on in the moment on stage. There's been a lot of research within this realm recently, and they've coined the term flow and being in the flow of the moment and being present within the space. And you need that within theatrical improvisation for that to work. Likewise, within life, you need to be present to really and grasp the richness that there is within life. There's so many amazing things within the world as we walk down the street and observe the beauty that's around us, especially in Southern California. And there's also a wide range of beauty within each individual that we engage with and encounter that we can be open to and that will enrich our lives in so many different ways. It's challenging though, because to look at somebody in the eye and really connect with them and really expose yourself and be open to what they have to share with you is very vulnerable. It's very difficult to just be like, I don't know you, but I'm open to knowing you, and I want to listen to what you have to say, but it's scary. And it's very easy within this present age where we all have a computer in our pocket that we can just pull out at any time and distract ourselves from the world that's around us. But the false sense of intimacy that's created through our digital life is nothing compared to the real intimacy that we can have with people around us when we connect with them and create with them within the world and really listen to them and be with them within one space, the toughness of life. Again, it's not an easy process, but when you're there and actually present, there's so much richness there. And there's so much we can learn, like within this opportunity here, about one another, being open and actively engaged within the process. Again, about 12 years ago, when I was sitting in that cabin, I was listening deeply within myself in terms of where I was going and what I wanted and the choices that I had ahead of me. I knew I couldn't do it by myself, but I also thankfully knew that there was somebody that was willing to go on the journey with me. And if I hadn't made a different choice than the path that I had been on, I wouldn't have had all the opportunities that I now have been so blessed to be able to have accomplished and achieved and received. From working in the film industry to getting my name on some credits in some major films to having a beautiful son who is now in my life that reminds me of these principles constantly, because if I'm not in the moment with him, it's all going downhill. Likewise, we play together, and it's amazing, and it's a beautiful life that I have with him and my wife here in Southern California. I have the opportunity to teach at the University of California in two of my passions of stage management, production, and improvisation, which is just such a rich blessing. In addition, I get the chance to speak with you now and share these things, which is just incredible. I'm so thankful for these opportunities. And I'm not saying I'm perfect at these concepts, but I am saying that when I delve into them and I engage in them, my life is so much richer than when I'm not. And I feel like when I face challenges, if I apply these same principles of making definitive choices, of being conscientious of those around me and collaborating with them and being within that moment with them, it's a rich, rich life, and we can overcome any obstacle. Thank you so much for sharing this moment with me.